So I noticed with Assetto Corsa that there wasn't really a very good career mode. It was there and it was implemented, but I don't think it was all that great. I think there was, I don't think there was any continuity with it. Like, the events themselves didn't seem like they were connected to each other. There was no sense of progression. It was just, one random event after another for all I could tell, and not really. I stopped playing it very soon after I actually got it, and then went on to the challenges, and then whatever people use Assetto Corsa for now, drift and doing what they want. It's more of a playground than an actual racer now, I suppose. With the lockdown, I had a bit of time on my hands and decided that I would just see about what was available to do with it. I mean, Assetto Corsa is hugely moddable, so you can kind of get around a lot of things and use it how you want to use it. Learned Python, wrote a companion app, and then had a look at what we could change within the career mode itself. So there's actually quite a lot. I mean, you can start from the start again and do what you want. That's probably what they initially thought they'd do. Just put some bare bones in there, and hopefully somebody else would do something with it. The way it works is that there's actually a companion Python app that goes with this. This is all just ini files and pictures and all that, good stuff. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4 license types. So you got to go from B to A to international B to international A, with the historic as kind of a side license, and also there will be special events that were just generally hot lap events and maybe endurance events if I can figure it out. Also manufacturer drives that you unlock. So if you use a particular brand for X amount of time or X amount of miles, it unlocks the manufacturer drives, and what those events will be determined at a later date, probably hot lap events, and that will be probably for all 6 main big manufacturers. The races themselves and how they work. So to unlock, when this first starts out now, I've been messing around with it, so there's some of these are unlocked and some of these aren't unlocked. I have to set it up properly so it's set from it unlocks as a scale. The A license will this will be the first one you do, and it's actually not the A license, it's the B license. I just haven't changed it yet because obviously I wrote it and haven't changed it. The way the license system will work will be that there will be 4 events per license test. So when you click into it, you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You complete all those, get gold in all those, and what will happen then is it'll unlock all the events that go with that. So B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. So once you've finished that, got your goal, done the series goal, it unlocks all the other events that go with it. Once you've completed one event within that category, the A license then will open, and same thing again, there'll be 4 events in there and you complete them, get gold, and then all these events will open, and then you complete one of those and then you get the international A, and you can go then mix it in between whatever one you want. You don't necessarily have to start with the Ginetta or the BTCC. You can do it whatever way you want, but the one caveat there is that there is a system to measure your driver rating as you go on. So while you're playing, the Python app that runs with this will log certain events and milestones as you drive. So while you're on the track and you're doing a hot lap event or a race event, there'll be certain things that you will earn driver rating for. So obviously Apex is this one, so if you hit an Apex, it'll give you a certain amount of points, or if you overtake somebody, it'll give you a certain amount of points, or you get your best lap, it'll give you a certain amount of points. On the flip side, it will also deduct points if you get passed, if you go off track, if you damage your car, if you fail in a multitude of ways, or you don't hit certain targets. It will take away from your driver rating, so it's not static. It doesn't go one way; it goes both ways. And how that affects then how your career progresses is that these individual events in the license category will be affected by that. So the 4 events here at the start they're all worth 5 apiece. So that's the initial, that's the baseline. You get 5 points. You beat the objective time for which this one is for 57 seconds. So you get on there, you beat the objective time, you get 5 driver rating straight away. And that's, so that initial one you have to complete before you go any further. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. So this first event that you start will always start at 20, obviously, to give you somewhere to go to. But on top of that, these other events that go with that are going to have a slightly higher driver rating entry. So while you still need to complete A, you also need to have a certain driver rating for these to unlock. So this one's going to be 20, obviously, but that one might be 22, 24, 26 and 28, and that will then relate to how well you do in the actual event itself. So if you hit your apexes, or you get best lap, or you know you just do quite well in that, obviously you have the capacity to earn extra points on top of that and then unlock all of these in one go. Or conversely you don't, and maybe you start here and you do this one and then you open that one and then you open that one. But regardless of that, if you only get 20 and you unlock this one, it will still, once you've done that, it will still unlock the international A license, and then you do the same again, and these will then be scaled up with that. So obviously if this one's 20, then that one's going to be 40. If this one's 60, then that one's going to be 120. Like, they'll go on a scale and then up, whichever one I consider to be the best motorsport. So i.e., the Formula cars are probably the most prestigious in that group, with the LMP1 and LMP2 there as well. I find that Assetto Corsa, there was never a way really to choose your car in any of these career modes, so you couldn't specify which car you wanted within that class, so you just had to go whatever was given to you at the start. So you couldn't say, in a GT3 class, you couldn't say I want the McLaren or I want the BMW Z Forge GT3. You'd have to just pick what was given to you and then go on from there, or edit the init files yourself, which isn't always ideal if you're not that computer savvy, or you just don't want to do it. It just means there's one more layer that you have to get through. So it was, the career mode is very curated in that way, in that you didn't get the choice to pick the car that you wanted. Now, the way I've got around that is that for the events that have multiple cars in them and multiple choice of cars, what you do is a team trial. I was the best in kind of more interactive way to do it, rather than just clicking on a button. Actually, I actually just didn't know how to do that. This is the only way I could figure it out to do it. What you do then, these are locked in a minute, so I'll show you the vintage team trial. So this is then related to that. So this code is H21, so it's historic event 2, and it's the first bit of that, and then H22, so that's the second part of that series. So this one will be locked, and this will unlock first before that unlocks. So you'll get that, and then that will unlock the other one. And what you do is you just do one hot lap event with the car that you want to race for the next series. So the Vintage Touring team trials will then relate directly to the Vintage Touring. So if you want to, say, drive the Mercedes, what you'll have to do is you'll have to complete the hot lap on that track, getting the objective time, and then you'll get the the race. That will be your car for the next event, for the Vintage Touring event. So you just do it, and you don't have to do it in any order. It can be, you can do, you don't like the car, you can try it, test it out. You don't like it, pick the next one, pick the next one, pick the next one, until you figure out which one you want. And even if you're halfway through it, you can change car. It's not really once and done, and that'll be for really, and going forward in any of the other ones that have multiple car choices on it, you can then just do the trials, and that will be your car for the next event. Now, content wise, obviously there's a mix of both vanilla and mods in here. I think it'd be pointless to do something like this without including a lot of the content that sits on race department and everywhere else. It just wouldn't make sense. Paid mods, there is one in here and probably at the end of it there will be F1 2020 will probably go in there as well. I will probably try to link everything in a file somewhere if somebody's that interested in it. So actually, in game wise, what's it look like? We'll do this one real quick because I've got it set up. So Foster's, and this is the B license test. That's not ideal. So I think I haven't set the start point for the car So, oh, there we go. So then when you start up, obviously this is going to be the UI for the app actually in game. So what it's going to show is your driver rating, and that's going to be your current driver rating. If you're doing a hot lap event, then it will show your objective time for this one is 57 seconds. It's a bit finicky. I'd have to change the format of how that shows up. And then this DR shows a little progress bar of how you're getting on up to 1.0. So this bar represents 0.1 of your driver rating. So if it goes 10 that way, then you're going to get -1 there, and if you go 10 that way, you're going to get +1, and that will show then dynamically. So as you go on and earn points during a race, that bar will change depending on what you get. So if you get +1 or -1 or minus something for doing something stupid, so if you go off track limits, you can see then that goes down. Obviously if you get a bit of damage now, obviously track limits is on a timer, so it's about 5 seconds before it does it again, and you get a bit of damage, then you get minus points again, and that's all up to 1.0, and then when it hits 1, it'll then take 1 off your entire driver rating. You do get points for apexes. Now whether I hit 1 or not is a different question, because I'm using my keyboard just as a way of showing you what's going on. Well, you see there, it's just on screen, just gives you a bit of a visual indication and an audio indication of what's going on now. That's not everybody's cup of tea, but I quite like it. Where's the apex? That will be changed probably, maybe in the future, I don't know. It's something that I like, and something that just gamifies it, I suppose, to a certain extent. Now, I hit this apex here. So you get an apex, and that's a positive sign. Now they're only 0.5 per apex, so you need 2 of those to fill a bar, and then that bar will move backwards and forwards as you go on. Now, when you exit out, then what will come up is a results sheet. So that will give you kind of an overview of how the race went, what points you got for what. So positive drive rating, we didn't get any objective bonus because we didn't get under 57 seconds. You show your total overtakes and the points that it earned you, your apexes hit, how many points that earned you, your personal bests, how many points that earned you. That'll also negative driver rating, so damage count, DR points, off track count, and pass count. And then it tallies it at the end, so you can see that their old driver rating was 1.2. We earned -7.75 driver rating, so our new driver rate is -1.95. It is kind of keep track of what you can do. You can also keep track of it in one particular one, so we can see there that our driver rating is -1.95. That's kind of it for the minute. I suppose we're just kind of seeing how it goes, and maybe a bit of feedback, see what people think, if there's something to be interested in, is it something that that maybe the community would want. Yeah, just generally any feedback from yourselves, see what you think. Alright, good luck, bye.